Buick has gone kind of under a redesign, you could say, over the last few years. Definitely going for a more youthful approach. Hey, welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Roberson. Now behind me is their latest edition, the 2016 Buick Regal. This one being the all-wheel drive GS model. Now what we're going to do is look at this and see how much younger it truly has gotten. It may sound superficial, but the first place to start when you want to look younger, well, is on the outside, and that's exactly what Buick is doing. Now, what you're going to see is a more sporty design. That versus the old styling of maybe the Park Avenue, a lot more voluptuous and heck, really big. What they do here on the Regal is, of course, the profile. Really starting with the silhouette, a lot more sporty, and of course gives you motion even long before you move. Now, what I see here similarity-wise is kind of the BMW 3 Series. It really kind of mimics that. Another thing they've done on Buicks is really minimize that chrome that they got into, a lot less of it. What you're going to see is just a little accent around the windows. On the wheels even, that's more of a brushed kind of look. The other thing, of course, you're going to find is the stereotypical portholes way up here. Otherwise, it's body color all the way around, give it a nice sleek design. Once you step back and really look at the profile, this is again where it mimics the BMW, and I think it all comes together really when you sweep back here. After all, nice sweeping rear window, and you have a very stout rear deck lid with a kind of built-in rear spoiler. Now we look at the overall numbers, the Regal's going to fall in the upper part of the mid-size sedan market, around about 190 inches overall, wheelbase around 107. Now this is all-wheel drive, of course giving you grip at the corners. Another place to look young comes down to your shoes, and here on the GS it starts with 20-inch optional wheels, especially with this spoke design, giving you a lot of open face and seeing all the inner workings. It also comes down to the tread you're sitting on, these being Pirelli tires, specifically 255/35s, and they're going to be 97 wide. Now what does all that mean? It's a lot of sport and very little tread wall. Now it really comes down to maybe the harshness on the road, because these are only summer rated. Now one thing to note is there is no matching spare in here, and we'll get into troubleshooting that in just a second. When you look at the front of any vehicle, what you want to see is, on this particular one, a lot of sport. Now where it starts is with the headlights. Now we've got a lot of lens flare here. It's going to go down the fenders, something you see across the board. Now what I also like is that we took a little bit of that brushed look, not a chrome, but brushed, really putting it down these lower ports. Now one thing to note, these are operational, getting a lot of airflow. Now down here, this is just kind of an accent, doesn't really do anything. Now even better, we do have front parking sensors up here, really allow you to dive in. Now sweep around to the front of it, dive in a little bit closer. When you look at the slope at the back end, one thing you're going to notice is the slope at the front. It all comes down and culminates here at the grille warfare with this nice waterfall grille. Now it's done in a more of a black accent with the chrome here in the center on the emblem. Now it is in a brushed chrome all the way around. And what I like is that's a more youthful approach versus the old standard bright chrome. Now down low, you're going to see some nice lower fascia for added sport and nice airflow right through here. One way to make a car feel a lot younger is really give it all the gadgets, and the cool gadget is the smart key system. Keep it in your pocket and forget about it. That allows ingress a lot quicker. Now what's great is they give you the access point on every door handle. Pretty much come up, press the button, it's going to unlock. Now if you go to any door except the driver, that's going to be a one touch. It's going to unlock all of them. If you go to the driver's door, you're going to press it once to unlock that one, press it again to unlock them all. Now sweeping down here to the fill up area, this is one area, well, maybe there's not a lot of security. It's pretty much unlocked all the time, pretty much meaning just press it and it's going to open right up. Another thing to look at is the good old twist cap instead of the capless system. That's becoming quite popular. Sometimes keeping a youthful appearance may require a little bit of surgery, and where they did that is on the back end of the Buick Regal. Really right here on the rear haunches as you get to the back deck lid. They really cut in tight right through here, minimizing the overall look. The only thing that really sweeps around is the rear taillights that come down the side. Now what you're going to see is kind of a minimal accents back here. A nice little mid brush chrome accent right through here. A little bit of a chrome on the Buick emblem. Otherwise, body color all the way around. Now when it comes to safety, we do have the backup sensors and a backup camera. Now as for cargo, what you're going to find here on the 2.0 liter is around about 14 cubic feet. Now it's going to be more than the one that comes with the 2.4 liter engine. That's going to fall down to around about 11 cubic feet. Just as important as how much a trunk can hold is really what lays beneath the cargo floor. Now what you're going to find here on the GS is really just a compressor. Now that's going to come in handy if you have a low tire. If you have a major flat, now there is a fix-a-flat can in there that you can spray into the tire. Now one thing I like to see a lot of vehicles go back to is putting a full-size spare in here just as a good option. On the outside you got the Sport, and on the inside it definitely on the GS delivers just the same. Now when you look at legroom numbers, this is a very long vehicle, around about 190 inches, which really translates on the inside. Around about 42 inches of legroom up front and a nice 37 inches in the back. Now when it comes to the seating, what I found is there's a lot of bolstering on this particular model. What does that mean? Well, it feels nice and snug. Now the only problem with that really comes down to your lower hip area. With the wallet in place, it really makes you feel maybe a little bit awkward and really raised off the seat. What I prefer is a little bit more voluptuous when it comes to the seating. Spread it out just a hair, really give you a lot more comfort. At the center of attention on the dash is Buick's next generation IntelliLink infotainment system. Now the instrument panel is a center stack that houses the 8-inch color touchscreen. Now it's designed for easy operation with intuitive controls and smartphone influenced swipe recognition for easy navigation. Now when it comes to climate controls, what you're going to find is again some more touch sensitive buttons. Now one thing to note is you can't control these with gloves on. It really has to feel the touch of your hand. Now I like the fact that you really can kind of fine tune your temperature, but I wouldn't mind maybe a knob here because it would make it a lot quicker. In some cases it just isn't that sensitive. Now you do have heated seats on this particular model, 3 different levels. Now in the center is your nice controls. Now this is very simple to use, and the way they have it stacked makes it really easy to understand. Now what I do like is the ability to have all the functions going at one time, or simply turn them off if you don't need them. Between the front seats, the design really works well. Where you're going to find a nice little coin area here, electronic brake, and a nice cover for your dual cup holders. One thing to note, really know where to put your cell phone, but you can, when this is open, put a cell phone in here. Now one thing to note, an iPhone 6 doesn't really fit in the cup holder, but maybe has to be turned this way. Now you will also notice that the one cup holder is a little bit bigger than the other, making two kind of be a tight squeeze. Now as for the center console, it is cut out here, meaning the passenger is going to have to use this for arm support. As for the driver, it has nice support here. For the Regal GS, it comes with an 8-inch configurable color instrument cluster screen, which is standard. It allows the driver to customize the displayed information with adjustments via steering wheel controls. This premium instrument display is framed with chrome accents and delivers chronography style graphics in 2 modes, touring and sport. It also complemented with a pair of semicircle mechanical instruments for the tachometer and other vehicle functions, befitting of the GS driver-oriented mission. Now, if you don't have the GS, it's going to come standard with more of a 4.2-inch color display. Now this is a sporty model after all, so one thing to talk about really comes down to the transmission. Now this is a 6-speed automatic transmission, something I truly prefer, but it does have that sport mode. Simply pull it down, pop it to the left. Now it's going to give you a lot more driving dynamics. Now one thing you can also do is really look up here. You can put this in GS mode and sport mode. Now all that combined is really going to kind of change the dynamic of this vehicle. After all, there is that turbo under the hood. Now I was looking all over for the USB connections, really just couldn't find them until I finally looked in here one more time. Now where you're going to find them in this little niche right here. Now what you're going to notice is there's 2 USB connections, a power source, and a nice auxiliary jack. Now one thing to note, again, there's no real place to put your phone, so you're going to end up housing it here while it's charging connected there. Swing around to your backseat drivers, what you're going to find instead of a standard bench is really nice niches on both sides with a little bit of a raised hump in the middle. Now that's going to give you great comfort anywhere you sit in this vehicle, and again there's great legroom back here just the same. Now looking at one other feature is you do have a nice raised center console here, nice elbow support, dual cup holders, and a nice little storage. Now if you want to transform this from people to cargo, that's going to be made fairly easy with a handle here. Going to pull it. It's going to be like a 70-30, 60-40 split. That's going to allow you to take your cargo from the back, let it come in here. When it comes to airflow for the back, you're going to have the little center console with nice air here. It's going to be just above the knee area for most center occupants, so you're going to have nice direction and keep it nice and cool or heated back here. Now one other thing to note is you do have a normal house outlet back here. That's going to help maybe charge things a little bit quicker than the standard power outlet in the front. We've covered the outside, one way to look youthful. We looked at the tires, another way. We looked at electronics. The last one has to be the engine. Now the way they do that is with 2 power plants, a 2.4 liter inline 4-cylinder or the as tested 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder turbo edition. Now what's the difference? The standard 2.4 is going to deliver around about 182 horses and 172 foot-pounds of torque. That versus the model we tested which is 259 horses and a whopping 295 foot-pounds of torque. Obviously giving you a lot more boot, scoot, and boogie. That does for this edition of Road Warrior, and a test drive behind the wheel of the 2016 Buick Regal GS. Now again, it has all-wheel drive Pirelli tires at the corners, and heck, that nice youthful approach on the outside. Now that's where Buick is headed, really making their overall appearance seem a lot younger. If you want more proof of that, look at their latest two-door concept. Now as always, thank you for watching this edition of Road Warrior. Keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.